Wrap up, protect your chains, and make sure your Broncos coverage isn't...
Bo Nix, he's playing good.
Akib, I assume you think your Broncos are going to go into Philadelphia and win this game.
Shake my nose, Skip. I think they do. Jalen Hurts is on 18-game win streak, and we got the streak breaker, baby. Hey, Sean Payton has been the streak breaker.
He has.
Broke the 16-game losing streak we had against the Chiefs. He broke the 8-game losing streak we had against the Raiders. Broncos 5th in the league running that ball, top 10 in the league in defense, 2nd in points. It's a good matchup for the Broncos. They got what it takes. The streak is coming to an end very soon. I think the Broncos and Bo get it done.
As usual, I disagree with you. Philly is going to win this game the way they always do. It'll be 20-17 home team. Bo Nix will be in over his head against this defense. Fangio will have, former Denver coach, will have Bo Nix's number in this game. He'll have a long, hard game because everybody does against these guys.
Didn't quite happen that way, though, did it?
It was a long, hard game, but Talia was right. The streak came to an end.
All right. Welcome, listener. Hello, listeners. Now I can get this intro right. We welcome you back to the In-COM-PLETE podcast, where your Coast Coast host provides you with news, coverage, and opinions of all things Denver Broncos, plus anything else that is on our minds. I am Ty, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and best friend Kelly. And as you all can see, we are joined by a very special guest, one of my best friends in Broncos country, a now new married man, and a fan of all things Denver Broncos. We'd like to welcome Ron Greco to the show.
Up, guys. How are y'all? Cheers.
Yes, cheers. So, we did something that we haven't done since...
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Are we going to do the victory cheers?
Yeah, I was getting to that because...
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes when you start, you forget.
Little times. But we did something that we haven't done since 1986. And what was that we did?
We beat the Eagles in Philadelphia.
We beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. So that one deserves a very special cheers. One, because we broke a very long streak, like Akib said that we were going to do. And two, a little humble brag here is that I finally, after 12 long years, since the last time Denver won even against the Eagles in 2013, I get to brag to everyone that I live nearby.
Nice.
I didn't hear fly, Eagles fly. I heard cry, Eagles cry this week.
Ooh, and they were crying.
Mm-hmm.
I heard them all the way over here in California.
Oh, my goodness. So with that, a big cheers for beating the Eagles for the first time since 1986. Getting the big signature win in the Sean Payton era. And the fact that the Broncos had such resilience, even though they were down 17-3, which we'll be talking about soon, they somehow, some way found a way to get that win and defeat the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So on that note, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
All right. I think it'd be best way that we'd start this with that game was just roller coaster of emotions, really. It was actually really more down, and then it had a sharp up climb in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty, in the moment reactor. And so first three quarters were not fun, not great. It felt like, our defense gave up the longest pass play for the Eagles all season, the longest rush play for the Eagles all season. It was just like, how are we going to get embarrassed on the next drive every single time they came out? And then, I don't know, man, the fourth quarter hit and everything completely flipped upside down. And it was like, We just needed to put a drive together. They finally did. It seemed to calm the whole team down, offense and defense, and then that was pretty much all she wrote. It felt like the fourth quarter just felt like we were in complete control, which is until obviously the very last drive. But it's like that was a good feeling, and it was a complete opposite feeling, especially of the first two quarters and really into the third after that touchdown at the Barkley. I was like, my goodness.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was more of a I think when that Barkley touchdown happened, I'm like, oh boy, this is how it's gonna go. And I really thought that this, like, okay, the Eagles have finally woken up, so they're gonna finally find a way to get that dub, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it gave me kind of like a Chargers game last year vibes when they kind of ran that exact same like wheel route touchdown to a running back.
Yep.
That was the kind of vibe I got, and I was like, oh, it just felt like, oh, we're finished now. And I don't know why. I don't know why it didn't. It's like that's how it felt. I'm sure to me. I'm sure to a lot of other of our fans. We felt like it's not that you want to lose hope, but you're down 17-3, like and you're in Philadelphia, the defending champs. Like nothing is going right. We can't get a first down, and then just I don't know. We just started making plays. I feel like relying on Dobbins. He's been huge, by the way, for us. Like it's been I was like a pretty big skeptic. I'm still skeptical that he's going to get hurt. I'm like super hopeful that's not the case, but that was my big concern with him. Out of the other guys that we signed, I was just like, he's always hurt. He's been awesome for us. Like I'm shocked how good he's been, and I feel like he's a huge reason we came back in that game and kind of took over.
Yeah, last thing we need is for him to get hurt, because I think he's finally sparked the run game, especially like once he starts going, anything can happen with this Broncos team.
I agree, and he's averaging what, like 5? I don't know his exact numbers, but I know like recently he was around 5 yards a carry on the season, which is, I mean, you can't ask for much more from your running back. And I feel like if we did lose him, there would be a massive drop off, because as much as I like Harvey and I think he's growing, and I actually think he's learning a lot from JK, he's still not ready to be like the every down bell cow type back, I don't think. And so we really need JK to stay healthy all year. And I like that we've been, using him. We're not overusing him, I guess, is the best thing I could say. I feel like we're using him the right amount. We're not putting too much on his work. We're on too much of a workload on his plate, but we're using him effectively, and he's being effective. It's really fun to see.
Absolutely. Any thoughts, Kelly?
Well, we're gonna do the good, bad, or ugly.
Oh my gosh, I just completely butchered that. My fault. All right, so as per usual, we
Ty's
do
over here Ty is so shocked by my presence, he's forgetting everything.
Yes, I am forgetting.
See, everybody can be like, "Man, Kelly interrupted a lot," but
Thanks for keeping us on track, Kelly.
Process, and that's how my notes go, and I'm like, oh, okay.
All right, so on that note, because it was a victory, as tradition goes, we always start with the uglies from this game, and I'll let you go first, Kelly, because honestly, looking into it, I really only had like one major ugly, but I have a feeling that you're gonna be in the same mindset as I am with it. But let's roll it out.
I have the referees.
There you go. Had it right there.
I have the referees. First, we still commit too many penalties. Period. The defensive PI is defensive PI because we are still grabbing the shoulder pads, and that just cannot happen. And I cannot get mad at refs when they throw it on us. 12 flags for 121 yards. I do feel like while the reffing was bad, this is not what lost Philly the game, because they sure weren't trying to give us anything, because the clearest flag PI picked up right before the half when dude's hands are on the face mask was bullshit that it just got picked up. And the phantom pick play. It wasn't a pick play. Dude ran into the guy. What's he supposed to do? I mean, if you're going to start calling that pick play, I got a number one defense for you. I'll just run into the guy, a little off the thing. So that's what I got for ugly. It's still, I mean, and watching all games around the league, I just can't believe the reffing.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible.
It's been awful this year.
Mhm.
I mean, the Chiefs, they were letting the Chiefs argue their freaking pick play. It was an obvious pick play. They pick up that flag against them. There's an obvious PI on the interception. The dude is tackled. They don't call it because it's the Chiefs. Like, across the league, I just don't.
Sicily.
Again, I've said this before. Refereeing needs to stop being a full-time job, and it needs to go back to the dentists and the doctors and the lawyers and the people that just did it for fun because they wanted to do a good job.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And not even just like, I don't want to like overtake, but the refs have been driving me nuts this year. Not just in our game, in all the games. There's zero flow to most of them. It's incredibly frustrating. I think was it the Bills Patriots game? I think there was like 28 flags between the two teams. Like literally anytime there's a play, the first thing you look for is their flag. Even in our game, the last play, the immediate thing the commentator said was, then there's no flags. And it's like, you shouldn't even have to say that, but you literally have to because it's constant. And like I said, going back to not the Eagles game, but the Bengals game the week before, the third quarter in particular, it felt like every play by either team, there was a flag. And I was at that game and I think I was bored. Everybody felt like they were bored in that third quarter. Like it was just like, oh my gosh, can anybody make a play of 5+ yards without a penalty? And like I said, it's not just our games. Obviously, I'm more prone to watching ours, but it's league wide.
Around the league.
It's every game. It's
a league-wide problem.
I agree. It's ugly. I'm with you on that.
Also, I'm just this is off on a tangent, but I am gonna bitch at the NFL graphic designers because why, when you flash to second down and third down and fourth down, is there a yellow back color so that it looks like the flag is being thrown every play?
Yeah, the CBS thing is terrible.
So freaking annoying.
I'm glad you guys noticed that because I didn't notice that at all.
You haven't noticed that?
Not
you
at all.
haven't noticed that?
Oh my goodness.
God, it drives me insane watching it on TV.
It's specifically on CBS, I think. I didn't really recognize it on Fox, but CBS, the little marker is like orange in the middle, or whatever color is the ball. But then between every play, when it changes from first round to second round, it turns yellow for a split second, then changes, and it's just like, dude. So every time you think there's a flag, I don't know how they can't figure this out. Like, they've got to be paid a lot of money to figure this out, and they're still haven't fixed it. So I don't know.
I don't know what target audience what test audience they showed that to, but it wasn't football fans.
Right.
It wouldn't have happened but 2 times before I was screaming, that's got to go. That can't be yellow.
Yep.
I don't care what the color wheel says. It can't be. Then it can't start orange. It can't start that color.
Yeah, make it any other color. Make it green. That way, it's like go. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I only want to see yellow if there's a flag, and we've seen way too many yellow for flags. So.
Well, because everything else flashes yellow because the penalty flag is yellow. So yellow flag, and so when we've now been Pavloved into when something flashes yellow at a football game, it's a penalty flag.
It's not great. It's not great. And I mean, obviously when you're in the stadium, like I go to the home game, so you don't see that as much, but you just literally after every play, I'm just looking on the field, is there a yellow flag anywhere? And I'm telling you, that Bengals game was rough. I mean, just every play in the third quarter, I swear it felt like that. It's just like, can we please just get like 3 consecutive plays without a flag? And it wasn't just us; it was both teams. I mean, they were calling the Bengals for everything as well.
Well, we had 12. The Eagles had 9.
Yeah,
and that doesn't count all the flags they threw that they had to pick up because they were like, "Oh, never mind."
That's another. Where was I going? Disregard. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I don't know. It's just the flags are crazy. Oh, that's what I was gonna say is, especially with the offensive offsides, they called it against the Chiefs 2 years ago, and now I feel like they're just making a point to just like try and call it all the time. They called it on us. I think it was the Bengals game. They called it on us, or maybe the Chargers game, and it's like the guy wasn't even offsides on offense. And also, honestly, they're only doing that because they called the Chiefs for it once, and the Chiefs lost because of that basically. And it feels like they just spent all this time last couple of years just trying to make up for that. and get all these other teams on it. And it's incredibly annoying. That and illegal man downfield are like my two least favorite penalties. I hate
Well,
them.
now I did watch the illegal man downfield things because other people are getting them.
Yeah.
And what I notice is that in offenses like ours, where there's more
RPOs.
shifts and personnel changes, yes, that's when it happens because it's kind of new to our linemen when they can be downfield.
Yeah, and I get
But
that.
other teams get them a lot. I've talked about this a lot. I've never heard so many illegal formation penalties than I have in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think when I watch them and I put them together on the all 22, it is always after a big personnel change. And then it's on an RPO play.
Yeah,
So I just think it's the linemen learning this new part of the game because it's all offense all the time now.
Absolutely. And
I
actually,
could be wrong, but that's the trend I see on them. So I'm thinking next season, this, maybe a season and a half, those will start to fade away.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, the illegal man downfield, that particular penalty drives me nuts. That one particularly drives me nuts because I feel like most of the time it doesn't really have an effect on the play. I know the whole point is like you don't want a lineman 4 yards downfield and then blocking. I get that. But it's like the dude's 2 yards downfield instead of 1 and we're throwing a flag. It's just like, and it's on the other side of the field. It has nothing to do with the play and they're throwing it. That's the kind of stuff that annoys me. And that's why it's just such a bad penalty. I understand it, but it's just, and they've really emphasized it last year and this year. I feel like you're seeing it a lot more. So that one gets under my skin a bit, but I'm not really a fan of any flags. So I'm just nitpicking
I have
here.
always been and will always be team. If it doesn't affect the play, who cares?
I'm with you.
The same
Although
with the leverage. Like they don't call leverage that much, and they're only supposed to call leverage if it actually affects the kick in some way.
Yeah. Although I will say,
and that's because I am team. If it doesn't have anything to do with what transpired, who cares?
we
no
did
harm,
get away with
no
one.
foul.
We got away with one against the Eagles. Against the Eagles, that illegal shift. It was technically an illegal shift, but it really didn't affect anything on the play. And we caught a huge break there. They ended up having to punt instead of go for it and converting it. So, but I'm with you. Like in this case, it worked out. But generally, I'm with you. It doesn't affect the play. Don't call it. But technically, that was the correct call because Saquon and AJ Brown were both moving at the same time. But felt like we
got to set for a second.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I felt like we kind of got away with it, but I'll take it. Like,
actually, I was going to talk about that illegal shift. Like, that doesn't. It seems like that play is also called a little bit more, at least from what I've seen. And yeah, I feel like, in a sense, when it comes to the penalties, like, yes, I get it. We are penalized a lot, but yeah, it is becoming a league-wide thing. I also wonder if it is because the refs are trying to like look more for. Like, I don't know if like they're like laser focused on like trying to find a nitpick. Like, I would even say as far as like nitpicking, like little things, like what you said with the leverage penalty, like that in itself was absolutely ridiculous, especially when the Colts did it on the kick before they kicked theirs and they didn't call it then. So it's like, what exactly are these refs looking for? Like, are they trying to sway it more for like the home team? Are they swaying it more for a team that is the NFL darling? I think what needs to happen during the off season, this upcoming off season, the referees need some training. They need to dive down into the rule book and try to like figure out like, and Kelly, you can do your commission at this part. If it doesn't impact the play, then do not call it.
Also, no letting the crowd boo you into throwing a flag.
That too.
No letting Mahomes and Kelsey go negotiate and make you pick up a flag.
that was ridiculous.
That's what gets me. That gets me the most. Is it felt like it in Indy and it felt like it here that if the crowd made enough noise, the referees responded.
Yep.
Yeah, Kelsey
And
and Mahomes talking to the refs on Monday and then picking up the flag. It was
yes.
infuriating. And like, obviously, I'm biased. I
And
like
how
the
much
Chiefs
and how
but
much
come
they
on,
asked for a flag.
constantly.
How much some players ask for a flag. Anything happens. This motion. This it's like flopping in the NBA. It stop it.
I
And so
have
the refs
noticed.
have become the game givers and the game takers. And players play into it. And crowds are playing into it now.
Absolutely. Especially in that the Colts one, and then you can even see it a little bit in the Eagles game last week that the crowd was trying to play into the flags.
That
Yes, and
the Mims pick up for sure. I mean, the
exactly.
crowd booed and they're like, "Oh, let's just pick that one up." Like, okay,
His hands were on the face mask. At the very least, it should have been illegal contact.
Absolutely. So I think we could go on a tangent all day about officiating and the flags, but we can save that like as a major episode. But are there any other uglies?
No, I didn't have another ugly.
All right, perfect. Then we can jump right into the bad. For me, I'm just gonna. I can really go both ways here, but I think I want to target this one specifically because he's kind of been a little bit of a problem on defense this season. And it's the Alex Singleton when it came to that coverage against that Saquon Barkley touchdown. Like, he's coming around. That's your assignment. Go after him.
Singleton getting burned by a running back is not new, and I don't understand it. And I've said this before. Van Joseph's defense has a hard time when someone's coming out of the backfield. It's bad. Singleton's coverage is bad.
I'm glad you went
You
there
do
because
something
that's
really
what I was gonna
great,
say.
and it's like, see, you're so hard on him. But overall, he's the guy in the group project not really doing his part.
That's exactly what I thought.
I'm glad you went there with the bad because that's literally what I was thinking of. Like, if you were to came to me, that's what I would have said. Is that it's Singleton's coverage, and I try. Like, these guys are professionals. Most of them are, they're the 1% of the 1%. They're great, but we gotta find a linebacker that can cover a running back. Man, he's been awful at it every year he's been here, and I understand he's recovering from an ACL. He's probably still not fully there, but even when he was healthy, he was still struggling covering running backs. He hasn't gotten any better at it, and partly that's him, but partly it's also the scheme. Like, Vance has got to know, I can't put him one-on-one in coverage. If you can't cover the running back, the third string running back from the Chargers, he's not going to be able to cover Saquon Barkley one-on-one on a wheel route. Like, it's just not going to happen. And I don't know many linebackers that could, but he certainly can't. And so it's like, I don't know if we just need to take him out, put an extra DB in on those kind of plays. And I know then you're giving up some tackling, but we kind of have Ufunga now to do that. So they got to figure something out there with they got to figure something out with that because it's killing us in multiple games already this season. It's hurt us twice, and teams see that they're just going to keep exposing it. So I'm glad you went there with the bad. That's really the only like bad that I could point out because we finally stopped the team from scoring on their first drive for the first time all season. So that was nice.
My goodness, yes, I have that. I have that as a good.
I was like, yeah, it was nice, right? It's about time.
Yeah, and I was thinking with the whole Saquon Barkley play, like if Alex Singleton's having struggles, okay, granted, I understand Saquon Barkley is the AP Offensive Player of the Year from last year, but it's become an issue where we cannot cover running backs coming out of the backfield. And we already have another one coming up next week with Breece Hall. And as a Broncos fan, when you hear that name, Breece Hall, he has been torturing us for the better half of half a decade. Forever how long he's been in the league. Every time we play the Jets, I always worry that we have to go up against Breece Hall because there's always that one time, at least Well, he didn't do it last year. I think he was either hurt or he was just a non-factor. But it seems like every single time Brees Hall is in the lineup against the Jets, he always has that ability to just break one on the Broncos, whether it's a reception and he goes 60 yards or if he gets a 70-yard touchdown run. If Singleton cannot keep track with any kind of running back, that makes me worried when we go up against Brees Hall in London on Sunday.
Yeah, that dude will do nothing against 30 teams, and then he'll play us, and he's like an all-pro. Like Josh Jacobs used to be like that with the Raiders. He would be terrible against everybody, and then he'd play us, and he'd turn into like Bo Jackson, and you're just like, okay, like was like Marcus Allen in his prime. Like, all right, and I understand he's a good player. Obviously, we see him in Green Bay behind an actual good running O line, but that's how I feel like Brees Hall is with us. He just. And I think we did it. I can't remember if he was hurt or we did a good job last year on him, but I know for sure the year before he had like a 70 or 80-yard touchdown run. I think he had two big plays in that game against us when we lost to the Jets at home. That was a frustrating game. But that was. I don't like losing to the Jets. We've been really up and down with them. Like I feel like we beat them last year. A few years ago we shut them out like 26-0, and then we lost to them when they had Zach Wilson was their quarterback. After Rodgers got hurt, they came into Denver and beat us. And it's just like, dude, we had Russ, but which we all thought was a good thing, which we've now found out was not. But at the time, I'm like, we just have Russell Wilson. We just lost to Zach Wilson because we let Brees Hall run all over us, dude. Like,
yeah, and I think he was also on the team when Sam Darnold was on the team as well.
Yeah.
So if once we get to the preview, that's gonna be my big thing. Stop Brees Hall.
Got to do it.
Yep. Any other bads?
Yeah. Ron touched on it slightly. The Eagles' biggest play from scrimmage was on a 3rd and 17. Then the longest run that they had put us down by 14.
Yep.
So again, while we have a very shut down defense, there are just moments they can't stop anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating. The inconsistency is frustrating. So yes,
on
wow.
3rd downs.
I know, huh? Yeah. And especially 3rd and 17s. Well, I talk about this week in, week out. We give up 3rd and 17s, 3rd and 15s, 3rd and 22s. Like those should be gimmies.
Yeah, it's
that
like
should
3rd
be
and
a
1.
Drive killer.
3rd and 1 will stop you, but if it's 3rd and 10 or longer, you might as well just take the first down, and not by penalty. They convert. It's just like, okay. I feel like we give that up more than any team in the league, and I don't. It doesn't make sense.
3rd and long. 3rd and 8+.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think that was a stat a couple weeks ago. We had given up the most 3rd and 8+ downs.
Yeah, wouldn't shock me. Yeah, that 3rd and 17 was frustrating. It really was. That was a rough one. I was not happy.
Done.
No, like the no-fly zone would never allow that.
Never. If it was 3rd and 17, a pick 6 was coming, baby.
Exactly.
So 3rd and 17. I'm trying to remember. Is that the one where Devonta Smith caught the 52-yard pass?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay. I was gonna thought on that, but that broke it down right there.
Because for some reason, Vance Joseph's like, they need 17 yards. You know what we should do? We should put Riley Moss, our white corner, and press coverage. He wasn't impressed, but he was way too close to the line of scrimmage for 3rd and 17. What are we doing? And you're not going to give him any safety help and just have it one-on-one with one of the fastest guys in the league. Mind-boggling decision there. That's why it's just like, how does that happen in the first or second quarter? I think it was the first quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, that was completely shut down. I mean, they had nothing on us. I don't know. Vance started throwing out all these crazy blitzes, these nickel blitzes and stuff, but it's just so wide. It's just it's like a Jekyll and Hyde team sometimes. The defense in particular this year has been very Jekyll and Hyde to me. They've been good for the most part, but like against the Colts, couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. Against the Chargers, same thing. That touchdown that Herbert threw, and I understand that was a great play, but also like, I don't know. I felt like we couldn't get off the field, and then Eagles in the first half couldn't get off the field, and then all of a sudden they turned it around. So,
Yeah, and I'll actually reference that whole where he was dialing up blitzes. I'm gonna dial that up into my good. There was another play that happened. I'm trying to think of Devonta Smith was another guy like going into the game. I'm like, this guy like burned us pretty bad last year because he had like 2 touchdowns, one that was definitely really big. It's like you would think Sean Payton would have seen that film from 4 years ago and like, all right, we need to stop Devonta Smith. He still ended up close to like I think 100 yards in that game. Like, what are we? I know, granted, most of them came on that 52-yard pass, but I think Vance Joseph did do a good job in the second half with that, which I'll touch on in a little bit. But you got to shut down Devonta Smith. I know they've got AJ Brown. You did a good job doing that. You also do the same with Devonta Smith, especially after what he did to the Denver 4 years ago.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I don't want to say surprised. I figured we would put Sertan on AJ, but I wouldn't have hated seeing Sertan following around Devontae instead and letting Moss cover AJ just because I feel like he's tall, he's strong. I feel like AJ's not not AJ. I feel like Riley's not as fast, as Sertan is, and neither is AJ Brown. So maybe that's like a little bit better of a matchup. But I'm not going to argue with defensive coaches; they figured it out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd be curious to see how Sertan would do against Devontae, just like jamming him off the line and stuff because he's so much bigger.
Absolutely. All right, any more bads?
Yeah.
I like how she's like, yeah, there's a bunch.
No,
There is though.
no,
There is.
But our clock management sometimes floors me. So there was 2. We took a delay a game at the worst possible moment.
Oh yeah.
See, and then the Eagles called a timeout, and we still couldn't get the call in on time, and had to call a timeout on the back of them.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, I think I remember
See,
posting about
everyone
that.
acts like surprised. How did you have any more bad? And then it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
I remember posting about that.
That happens to us a lot. Like our time management, and I know sometimes it would be better, if our offense got another first down, then it would be okay. And like, I really wish we'd gotten another first down at the end because I really felt like a minute was maybe too long to give Jalen the ball again. But so I know sometimes that is the problem. But some of those, like we can't need to have to call a timeout when the Eagles have called a timeout. Like how does the play still not come into us?
Right.
Yeah, I think we burned a timeout early in the third quarter, and I was like, surely that won't come back to bother us or like hurt us later. And it's because it feels like, thankfully, obviously it didn't, but it felt like it really could have at the time. Even at the time we were down, I think 17-3, but it was just like, we're burning a timeout. It's completely unnecessary. But just from like what I've read and stuff, a lot of it seems like some of Sean Payton's former players is just like his calls are so wordy, and he's throwing in a bunch of stuff on top of that, and they're running out of time, and Bo's not getting the full play in time, and so I think Sean needs to do a better job of that. I don't know if it's probably, I mean, obviously somewhat on Bo, but I think it's also on Sean. Like he's got to get the play. Like a lot of times you'll see Bo being like, "Come on, come on, come on."
Yeah,
so
he's very frustrated sometimes.
Yeah,
so,
Sean needs to figure that out. I definitely agree that's a bad. They had a couple of that delay of game could have cost us. We're lucky that it didn't, but that was at a really, really bad time. We're trying to put the game away. We had to run that third and manageable, and all of a sudden it's like 3rd and 9. It's just like, ugh.
Because we're not good at 3rd and 9s.
No, we're not. That's what we've been in a lot.
Yes. I'm gonna throw that yet in there, universe.
Right.
Yet.
Yes.
And speaking of that, to piggyback off of that, Sean's got to come up with some play plan to overcome negative plays.
Yeah.
One negative play like puts the whole drive on eggshells because they tend to snowball on us. Like, oh, okay, we lost 2 yards. Oh, well, now we're going to have an illegal formation. So now we've lost 5 more. Oh, now we're going to false start. And it's like, gee, come.
Yeah, I noticed that for us. I also noticed that for the Eagles, and Tony Romo mentioned that during the game, that the Eagles, the one thing they did really well in the first half is they kept being in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. And then whenever we would stop them on first down and it would be like 2nd and 11, they struggled every time. And he mentioned that, but it's like, that's the same thing with us. That's why I think JK has been such a big deal. And they kind of knew going in, like they're not going to be able to just run all over the Eagles, at least initially. So they were
Right.
ready for 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7. They knew it was going to be tough sledding initially. I'm really glad that, and he wrote it on his play sheet, but he stuck to running,
Yeah,
to
that
running the ball.
run the ball
Yeah,
has been
yes.
up there. Like
He
I thought
said-
in week 2, run the ball. And it's like,
Yeah.
I always pull out the Sandra Bullock meme. Run the ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that he stuck to it a little bit this time, but you're absolutely right. The negative plays, they kill us. And it feels like one negative play
And
just
the drive
ruins
over.
our drive. And it's just like,
The-
I don't know
the
if it's the
mojo's
type of
gone.
play calls, although that wasn't, I know we're not to the good yet, but I have a really good one that we had a negative play and we made a positive out of it, which hasn't happened often, but it was probably my favorite play of the whole game. So I'm assuming you guys know what I'm referring to.
A little bit.
Okay,
I think so.
The last thing I'm going to mention is I still need the receivers to catch the ball. If the ball hits your hands, you're supposed to touch. I don't care if people could catch Elway's throws that leave marks on your body. You can catch a ball that touches your hands.
Right.
And Bo Nix has to stop overthrowing the same way. Overthrows and drops are part of those negative plays.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I was hoping.
I can still give Bo some grace. It's only his 2nd year. He gets very excited. He gets a little unsettled. Okay, got it. Great. He can be cold as ice. He showed in that 4th quarter he can suddenly become cold as ice. But he's going to start being that way in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd quarter too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That Sutton drop on the first drive, I was just like, oh, please don't be a sign of things to come. And honestly, Sutton balled out after that. That was a frustrating
Seth
drop.
made up for it.
He made up for it, for
oh
sure.
my goodness. Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Actually, I do have one more bad now that I'm thinking about it. So this will be the last one. And it's just because I want a little nitpick at it a little bit. So for those who may not know, before I became a teacher, I was in the field of communications, hopefully to become a sports broadcaster one day. Obviously, that didn't happen, but that's okay. I want to nitpick at the fact that Tony Romo could not let go of the fact that intentional grounding was not called. It just seemed so unprofessional at that stage.
Tony Romo is mad he's 0-3 against the fucking Broncos.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Like, the play happened like 10 plays ago, and you're still talking about it. Like, let it go.
He wasn't going to let it go. And what happened to that man's nose? Has it always looked like that?
Farther now. I like that
I mean,
Stereotor stuck up for him. Stereotor said, look, there's a guy in the area that's not intentional grounding. He circled it, he put it on, and Tony was still going on about it. It actually didn't bother me as much as normally he does. I don't know why. He seemed the one thing that did drive me crazy is he was, and this isn't even on him. This is just, I was fresh with our team. He was pointing out what the Eagles were going to do, like on that final drive. He's like, they're going to have a guy cross here and under here and under here. And then they did that exact thing and they converted 2 huge plays off of it. And I'm like, if he knows it's happening, how does our defensive coordinator not know this is happening? It was driving me nuts. I'm like, Vance.
The same thing happens when you watch the Manning cast over Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are so dialed in and Peyton will go, this is what they're going to do. And it's like, how is the coaching staff not know what to do? Jesus, put Peyton in our booth. Why is he? So, but yeah, he wouldn't let it go. He absolutely wouldn't let it go. I was screaming that they had to pick it up because there was someone in the vicinity.
Yep.
I'm like, part of that rule is someone is in the vicinity, and like all the backlash now is, oh, you mean they're on planet Earth? Oh, you mean they're in the zip code? Someone was there. Like that's the rule. And the same with the arm going forward. I feel like Bo's hand was very
clearly
going forward, and they're
It was.
bitching about that. No, it was really a fumble. No, it wasn't. And then someone on Twitter like Snapchatted the rule, and like it only has to be like a millimeter forward.
Yeah. It was going
And it
forward. It was
definitely
slight, but it
was.
was.
He was in the throwing motion.
Yep.
And so that bothers me. And then the PI that didn't get called, I admit could go either way. If they had called it, you couldn't be that mad about it. But they didn't call it. And they all want to do the one freeze frame.
Right.
But the freeze frame right before it holds up what they said. There was mutual hand fighting. So
Yep.
it was too
And
close to call.
And they had just gotten one that, I mean, that's a refs thing. They're not going to call it 3 times in a row. We learned that with the Legion of Boom. Like, their whole thing was just commit a penalty every play because they're not going to call all of them. And
They'll finally stop calling them.
right. And so they just called one early in the drive, and I think they probably let us get away with that second one a little bit. But to me, that was just more of like, we just gave you one. The contact was pretty minimal on that one. I think the contact was less on that first one that they called the PI on than the second one, but they can't call every single time, honestly. And it was close, but it was no more egregious than the one they picked up for us in the first half. That seems like no big deal because it's in the second quarter, but we could have gotten points out of that drive. We could have got a touchdown, a field goal, something. And then instead of being down,
14.
14, we're down 7 or 3 or whatever. So, and it just ends up working out. Like, I have a friend, BJ, that always tells me, like, I can point out the refs. They drive me nuts. He's like, it all kind of works out. You lose a game on the last second, you win a game in the last second. And that is kind of what happens. But it's frustrating that we should be 5-0. It's like,
Yep.
like a couple of stupid penalties and bad decisions, and it all seems to work out. I just, but yeah, I agree. Romo was, to go back to your point, Romo was a little annoying. To me, it wasn't the worst he's been. I've seen him be worse. Like, if you've ever watched him call a Chiefs game, he's pretty unlistenable, just like Collinsworth.
Is he Collinsworth worthy on that one?
Collinsworthless, as I call him.
I mean, Romo is very pro Chiefs and pro Patrick Mahomes. And I can kind of let it go because Romo was a quarterback and he sees good quarterback play and it kind of makes him excited. So I can give him more grace than I can give Collinsworth. But Collinsworth won't even be calling a Chiefs game and still manage to talk about the Chiefs.
Yep. He actually did that in the Patriots Bills game this past Sunday. He like something.
He needs a shot caller, and every time he says Patrick Mahomes,
it's like, dude, the Bills and the Patriots are playing.
Patriots are playing. Patrick Mahomes has nothing to do with this game. Shut up.
Yeah, he did that. He did that last year for a Bills game too. Like, Josh Allen just made like a ridiculous play, and he's like, "That's a play only Patrick Mahomes can make." It's like, maybe Josh Allen just made
the guy
it.
You just saw made it.
Yeah, he's pretty rough with that. Anyway, I didn't mean to get us all on a tangent, but yeah, Collinsworth was driving nuts with that, and Romo. What bothered you didn't really bother me. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention. I was so locked in. I wasn't paying attention to the intentional grounding thing.
It did, like the fourth time he mentioned it, I was like, Jesus, enough.
And
but that's like the mom in me. We're like, I said no. I said no. I said no.
So you said mom was like, when they had mentioned it, like even my mom when I was watching the game with, she's like, all right, Romo, can you just like let it go already? I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm glad someone is like noticing, like I'm listening to every little thing. Like I know it's just not me that's hearing Romo say for 4 or 5 times, that was intentional grounding. That was like, we get it. Let it go.
It was when he came with, I still feel like the spirit of the law. Oh, shit.
Yes, that was, oh my gosh. That was
sorry. If you hear the dog, I'm sorry. I heard a noise outside.
It's all good.
It's okay.
All right. But after close to 45 minutes, we can get to the good.
we can be a little more concise. Sorry, I'm a talker.
Okay. I do want to bring up I want to talk about good real quick because I want to bring up a point that I brought up when we were talking about bad and ugly. And it was, I like the fact that Vance Joseph did actually switch things up in the second half. They mentioned, I think I saw it on Twitter somewhere, that throughout the first half, for the most part, he was playing man and they were getting beat. And I think it was after that Saquon Barkley touchdown, Vance Joseph switched it up and was like, okay, so maybe he didn't make halftime adjustments, or say he made halftime plus 2 minutes adjustments, but he switched it up to zone, and it ended up getting Jalen Hurts in quite the tussle, really. And that's actually where the defense started shining. It's like, all right, let's stop playing man with these guys. Let's play some zone, confuse Jalen Hurts a little bit, enough for our players to like get a rush in and try to sack him. And it ended up working.
Yeah, they definitely kept sending a bunch of guys up to the line, and then they would send McMillan, they would send Jones, they would drop back, and behind that they were playing zone, and they were sending different corners and safety blitzes. And Hurts either wasn't reading them quick enough, or wasn't reading them properly, or making the correct throws. We really, I think Bonito, at least one of Bonito's sacks came on one of those. And I know McMillan had a sack or like a big pressure. I know Brandon Jones had a big pressure on one of those. So it was nice to see this actually make in-game adjustments, because sometimes coaches are too stubborn to do that. And I think this time they weren't, which was nice to see.
Kelly looks like she has something to say, so I'm going to let her have her.
Oh no, I mean, it was a big game for Bonito. It was a big game. I mean, it was a great showing for our defense. But yes, it was nice to see, because my number one complaint is Vance Joseph doesn't seem to make adjustments, and he did make adjustments. And I think overall the trend is we do better in man, or we do better in zone than we do in man.
Oh, absolutely.
So why he tries to go to man sometimes, and why he waits so long, again, it's the same with Sean Payton. I don't know why he gives up on the run sometimes when he does. I don't know why. I don't know what they're doing. And I know, and I'm glad, because I would have felt bad this week as Vance Joseph, because Sean Payton came out and said he really wanted Vic Fangio first as defense. And Fangio said no, and then he got Vance Joseph, and we struggled 3 quarters against Fangio's defense. So credit to him for his defense. But in the end, I was glad that Joseph kind of won that battle.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I just think on that point, like saying like he sometimes doesn't get away from the man. I noticed that specifically against Chargers and Colts, when they kept killing us with crossing routes and he refused to change it. And I think maybe at some point in the Colts game he finally did, but it was too little too late. We'd already given up however many points, 28 points or whatever. So yeah, it's just, or whatever it was, 21. But it's just like, you giving up 3 touchdowns by playing man, and they're just killing us with crossing routes over and over and over. Like, drop back to zone, let our 4 guys get pressure. Cooper and Benito are absolute monsters, and right behind them with Ellis, I mean, we have guys that can bring pressure all game long, and they do a really good job. They've really got to just rely on them more. Obviously, the blitzes are great once in a while, but if you're going to blitz, try and play zone behind it, because playing man behind the blitzes has not worked for us this year very well.
No, and we did get 6 sacks on Hurts. 2, he ran out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage, and so they gave weird people those sacks. When you look at the sack numbers, you're like, huh? But it's because that's the player closest to him.
Right.
They get awarded the sack when he runs out of bounds.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I was gonna say Benito's performance earned him Defensive Player of the Week.
So Nick Bonito, yes, 2.5 sacks this week. He now has 20.5 sacks since 2024. He has 7 sacks in the last 5 games. He has a 2-sack lead over the rest of the league. Now, we all know the sack record is 22.5 in a year. Yep. He's on pace for 24. And what's more impressive about that is he is not in the top 20 for rush attempts.
Wow.
So we're not even bringing him as often as the people around him are going. And he's also number 1 in quick pressures.
Yep.
It's a beast. And opposite him, Cooper is awesome as well. He doesn't get nearly enough praise. He doesn't have the stats, but I feel like a lot of his pressures help Benito get to some of those sacks too, which is nice. So I just want to make sure we give him his flowers too. He's been really, really good this year. And I'm glad we got him re-signed recently to, a somewhat team-friendly contract.
Yeah, the fact of the matter that Benito signed that fairly team-friendly big deal, and he's still performing 5 games in the season, showing a lot of signs of longevity.
Yep.
in his
Same with
second
Zach
career.
Allen.
Exactly. Yep. Zach Allen as well. One good I do want to bring up, and I have to say, so I was listening to Dave Logan, I think it was yesterday. I have to give Sean Payton credit. Like I gave Vin Joseph credit earlier for changing the scheme. The fact that Sean Payton had the balls to go for the 2-point conversion on that second touchdown, I first thought I was like, oh gosh, this is like the worst thing that like I just could not like why are you doing this? Like there's still so much time left in the game. But really thinking back onto it, it was a really
That won
good
us the
call.
game.
That wins us the game. It kind of
Or we weren't going to lose by another freaking no second field goal.
absolutely that we were gonna end up leading the entire fourth quarter, but only to lose like at the last second. It also kind of reminded me a little bit of the whole Cincinnati game last year, where that was one point where I was like, yo, you need to go for 2 because I just did not have the wholest amount of confidence that we were going to stop Joe Burrow and like just go for 2 at that point. At that point, I was like, not the greatest idea, but in the grand scheme of things, it ended up being the best idea they could do because by the time the Eagles got it for the final time, they needed a touchdown. They couldn't get a field goal to drive it into overtime. Because by the way the Eagles played on that final drive, that field goal would have at least forced us to play for no more than 10 more minutes. And I was just, with the way that game was going, I wanted to get it done in regulation so bad. So props to you, Sean Payton, for having the balls to go for two on that drive.
Well, I was going to bring back that quote you read at the end of the last podcast about trying to stop the tush push.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say? They were going to grab their nuts and try to stop them or whatever.
Yep.
Well, they didn't have to do that. They didn't even attempt the tush push against us. But man, Sean Payton grabbed his nuts and was like, we going for 2. We ain't tying.
I was a little nervous about that play, but when
I was very nervous. You can go back on my Twitter and all I do is no.
Yeah, I think in the moment I wasn't thrilled. I was just like, let's just tie it and not lose momentum. Because if you don't get that, it's such a huge
right.
It
it's
can
a
hurt you a
momentum
little bit.
killer.
But what I think really, in a weird way, and that maybe Sean obviously knows better than I do, but when we converted it, he obviously knew the play he wanted to go to. Something about just having their players have to look up at the scoreboard and see, oh wow, we're down by a point, and having our players look up and say, hey, we're winning right now. Just that psychological edge, I think, is really, I know that's, I feel like that's a super underrated part of that, where, their guys had to look up and say, how are we losing this game? And our guys are looking up saying, yeah, we're winning this game. This game is ours now. It was just something about that psychological. And as a fan, I felt that. I felt like, not like, oh, confident, oh, we're going to win, but like, how did this just happen? In 5 minutes, we just scored, 15 points. We're in the lead. We look like we're dead in the water. So as upset as I was initially about it and like scared, man, did it work out. And like, sometimes you just got to grab your nuts, throw your nuts on the table, whatever you want to say. Like it worked out great. Like,
Sean's
awesome.
Ringo always lets his guy outside.
Yep, trailing.
Yep.
Just always Ringo. And so when he said I knew what play I wanted to call, it was going to be to pick on Ringo again.
Yep, absolutely.
Can I give you one quick good thing? I swear it will be quick.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good.
One of the
I still have a lot of good too.
we have one of the good. I mean, there was a lot of good in the game. Obviously, the huge play that I'm sure I know a lot of people have talked about, but the 3rd and 15. I think Knicks took an intentional grounding to play before or something. It was 3rd and 15, and Sean Payton dialed up a perfect play. Bo executed perfectly. Sutton executed perfectly. Not only caught the ball on that in route, but then also broke free for another 15 yards or so. Really got us down to the 11-yard line, set up the touchdown to before that 2-point conversion. That play was so awesome. I felt like that was the play that set the tone for the rest of the game from that point forward. Like, we were not going to be like, oh, I hope they give us the game. Like, we were going to take the game. And I feel like Sutton, that's like the play that was like, okay, Sutton made up for, he had a couple catches that were really nice, but that one in particular was like, he's not letting us lose. Like, he's got Bo's. I think Bo had mentioned it in the press conference. Like, I know Court's got my back. I got his back. Like, we were going to make sure we won this game. And that was such a clutch play. It was third. We don't convert third and long ever. And third and 15. It was, I mean, Bo threw it before he turned. It was on a rope. Like, it was a great throw. Very reminiscent to me of that Falcons throw from last season where he like threaded it through a couple of players. He didn't have to do that on this throw, but the velocity he threw it with and you know, where it hit Sutton that gave him that chance to catch it and break up field was awesome. And I feel like that really set the tone. So that was a big good for me.
Oh, absolutely. That was like probably the play for me at that point, I feel like that was the turning point where I'm like, oh, maybe we do have a chance to win this game. So that was perfect execution all around the board. And like you said, the fact of the matter that Sutton was able even to break free and get even more yards after that. Chef's kiss right there.
Yep. I got some stats to follow up on that. Court caught 6 out of 8 targets for 81 yards, 3 for 64 yards just in the fourth quarter alone. Yep. Against Mitchell, who up until this week had never allowed more than 2 receptions or 49 yards to a receiver.
Yeah, Sutton beat all those numbers just in the fourth quarter alone, which just shows you.
And then Bo Nix in the fourth quarter went 9 for 10, 124 passing yards, one touchdown, 3 for 3 scoring drives, led us to 18 unanswered points. His passer rating is still only in the 80s, 87.8, but that's the highest passer rating a quarterback's had against the Eagles this year.
Wow.
Yeah, Bo was on fire in the fourth, man. It was nice to see because he was, and it wasn't just
suddenly, like I said, suddenly ice in his veins.
Yeah. And it wasn't like, oh, a screen pass here, or a 1-yard pass here, a dump off here. He was like threading the needle, getting the ball out. Even that 2-point conversion. I mean, he's on the run, he's under pressure, delivered a dart, perfect throw to Franklin where he could get it and get his feet in. Like he was feeling it, man. It was nice to see. Like that's the Bo we need for 4 quarters every game. We'd be pretty tough to beat.
Yes, but that's the guy we want. That's who gives us hope.
Hard to get that kind of consistency all the time, but if we can get,
just
something close to that, something close to that, we get that for 2 quarters, we'll take it. Like,
absolutely. All right, any other goods?
To piggyback off Sean Payton's play calling. So again, to repeat what the opening said, in case you guys didn't hear it, Sean Payton has broken all our bad streaks. Our 16 games losing streak against the Chiefs. Our 8-game losing streak against the Raiders, and this 39 years of not winning in Philly. This makes he has now the 15th most victories, and with this win, he passed Bill Parcells all time.
Awesome.
Well-deserved game ball.
Yes. This also broke. We have been 1-10. Sean Payton has been 1-10 against winning teams with the Broncos. So, I mean, we're now 2-10. And we have been all time. The Denver Broncos are 1-114 in games down by 14 points in the fourth quarter, which I find hard to believe because I could swear John Elway's brought us back from that. But maybe he started in the third quarter. So now we're 2-114 in games where we're trailing by 14 or more points in the fourth quarter.
But did anybody else, did you guys hear the story about Sean Payton asking the bus driver to go down Broad Street and go through downtown Philly on his way home?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I did.
I love that. I wish they would have done it. Although I get why they didn't. They're trying to be professional, but my goodness, I felt like all of Broncos country wanted to be on that bus driving through downtown Philly after that because, man, what a win. Like, really, that was a really fun game, a really fun win. Probably my favorite of the Peyton era. The Bills game a few years ago was pretty fun as well. But, man, this was a fun win.
Well, yeah, because you
bigger.
get to knock off an undefeated team, right? They come in undefeated. We're in their house. They're the Super Bowl champs. No one gave us a chance except Adam Rank. Shout out to Adam Rank.
Always. Adam Rank's our guy.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and the refs didn't give us this game. Jalen had 2 overthrows at the end of the game that would have won them the game. That for some reason they decided Barkley didn't play this week. He only got 9 touches, which is the fewest of his in any game in his career that he's finished. Philly might have a problem if you're going to let AJ Brown and complain and make Jalen stay in the pocket. Maybe you can't win games like that.
Yeah, we should point out another good then. We have receivers on our team like Cortland Sutton, who doesn't care about his stats. He doesn't care about having 9 catches or 10 targets or this or that. He cares about winning. Not that the Eagles don't, but I really do feel like what you're saying is true. Like, because you just read the Barkley stats, it felt like they were purposely trying to just get those guys touches. And our guys don't complain about that. You never see them complain about that. They just go out there and ball out and want to win. And it's awesome.
No, and Dobbins has been very vocal about how different the Broncos locker room is and the Bronco fans are, and that the Bronco fans are there for the whole team and not one person. And the Broncos are a team first mentality. If we are winning, then what we are doing is working, and it's not about me as an individual.
Yeah, I love it. Like, I see Troy Franklin cry when he gets 1 catch, or Mims when he gets 2 catches, Cortland when he gets 0 catches, whatever. Like, they just go out. As long as we win the game, they're happy, and that's how it should be. And I know it's hard to do for receivers for some reason. They're definitely the biggest divas in the NFL. But man, I'm glad we don't have those guys on our team, and I think that's a big reason Judy is gone, because Judy would pout and start getting upset and stuff like that. And as talented as he is, that's not the culture they're building here. So I'm glad that we have guys like that fit that. Tim Patrick fit that really well. I think it's kind of a bummer he's gone. Vele kind of fit that. Some of those former guys that are now gone, but we've replaced them with other guys that have that same mentality, which is good.
Absolutely.
And then I also forgot, Sean Payton did not abandon the run. We talked about that. We had 19 runs for 94 yards in the second half.
Nice.
Beautiful. Can't beat it any other way. So actually, before I do, is there any other goods, bads, uglies we need to cover? I think we're good.
I'm all good.
I think I'm all good too. All right. With that being said, that was our very extensive recap of the game, which, with how historical that game was, is perfectly fine that it went as long as it did. Now, I think it is time for us to go around the NFL. I do want to start, though, with some news coming out from the Denver Broncos, and that is that Ben Powers is going to be out for a minimum of 2 months with a torn bicep. So we talked about Alex Singleton a little bit earlier, and remember how last year he was able to play a full game on an ACL tear. Ben Powers played on this torn bicep for like this entire last drive, offensive drive. It just shows you how much adrenaline and willpower that these guys have. And as Ron, you said earlier, 1% of these guys play in the NFL. It's really impressive at how very well-minded that they are. But I do want to mention that this is going to be a really big blow to the Denver Broncos offensive line, who has looked really good so far this season. He is set to return in December. Peyton hasn't mentioned who is going to start in his place, although there is a little bit of words that Matt Parth could start. And before I continue on, we did have a question. It seemed like so long ago. Jay was actually watching the show earlier, and so he says that Powers might not be on this roster next year. So it'll be interesting this line without him. So we're going to get to see for these 2 months or more how this line looks without Ben Powers. And I was looking at his stats or not his stats, his contract that Ben Powers actually has. Sorry, I'm reading real quick. So he has $11,009.9 for his salary next year. They can restructure that. Looks like he did get restructured a little bit, but his cap hit would be 18.4, which would be 9.7 against the dead cap. So I'm not sure we could really get away with that depending on how our salary cap looks this year. But how are we feeling about seeing 2+ months possibly without Ben Powers?
I don't think he. I mean, look, I like him. He's pretty good. Particularly running the ball. I think he's really pretty good, but he's not. He's probably my least favorite lineman. Maybe not Wattenberg. Wattenberg is pretty rough sometimes, but Powers is he's pretty inconsistent. I do feel like he's been better through like the end of last year and and into this year so far. He's been pretty decent, but um, and I guess if we're gonna lose somebody, I'd rather be him than Miners or Bowles or McGlinchey or even Wattenberg, just because that center quarterback thing is a big deal. So curious to see who they plug in there, whether it's Purd or Palcho or um, I can't imagine they'd throw Forsyth in there, even though he's a really good run blocker. Um, so yeah, not sure, man. I think I'm curious to see how we do. I hope we don't have too much of a drop off, especially in the run game. But time will tell. I'm sure teams will be looking to expose that gap for sure. We'll see.
Before we continue on, before Kelly gives her thoughts, we have some Ron fans in the show. Ron's phoning up articles bothering me. Ron, your phone expert, get it together.
Sorry, man. It looks so terrible sideways, so we're going this way.
And then Ron needs to I missed it. Ron needs a wide camera to get all his beauty in the frame.
I appreciate the love from my adoring fans, but I'm good. We're just gonna leave it like it is. I'm not gonna mess with it.
All right. Kelly, sorry, she's in the middle of chewing, so my bad. What are your thoughts on the Ben Powers injury and the impact it could make on the Broncos going forward?
This is why I complain so much about depth and feeling like when we don't have depth, because injuries happen in the NFL. So I'm interested to see. Sean Payton was very proud of this team. He put it together. How he handles this.
Absolutely. All right. So I will go ahead and skip on. If anyone else has anything around the NFL while I try to scavenge through all these Ron fan comments, go on right ahead.
Just ignore them, man. They're just buddies of mine.
Well, I mean, yeah, they think I talk a lot. I got a lot of around the NFL. The Ravens right now are the first team to allow 37 plus points in 4 of their first 5 games. They are not doing well. This is actually an interesting NFL season. The Chiefs are not doing perfect as they typically do. The Ravens are not doing well. The Bengals are in trouble. Who's the other one? Oh, and the Bills just lost to the Chargers.
I lost the Patriots.
Oh, Patriots. Sorry. So yeah. So it's interesting. Which, speaking of that, Flacco got traded to the Bengals.
Yes, that actually was one of my around the NFL moments. So we could jump into that.
Yeah, go take it away.
All right. So on Tuesday, well, actually, it was after the Cincy game against Detroit. Zach Taylor was non-committal on who he was going to play. Granted, Jake Browning has gone 0-3 since taking over the reins at quarterback after Burrow went down. However, he has thrown 8 interceptions over the last 4 games. So the 3 that he's lost plus the game that he came into, even though they beat Jacksonville. So over the course of their 3-game losing streak, the Bengals have been outscored 113-37. So Zach Taylor's like, Joe Burrow's going to be out for a long time. Let's try to see if we can try to salvage whatever we can of this season. So they went to their division rivals, in-state division rivals, might I add, to the Cleveland Browns and say, oh, please, could you give us Joe Flacco? Cleveland said, all right, go ahead. Just give us a 5th-round pick for him. And like, all right, we'll even give you we'll even throw a 6th-round pick in there. Like, yay, we'll do that. So Joe Flacco has now gone. Joe Flacco now, he's actually set to start against the Packers. So when that happens, in Joe Flacco's career, he will have started for 3 of the 4 NFC North teams in his career.
AFC North, but yes.
Did I say NFC North? Oh my gosh.
You're just talking about the
Um,
Packers, so that's why it's easy mistake.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Who is starting for the Browns?
Dylan Gabriel is starting for the Browns.
Do you know what number quarterback he is to start for the Browns since 1999?
I'm gonna guess, and I might be spitballing here. Is he the 41st quarterback?
Yes, he is. 41.
41 since 1990. Geez, that's like. I feel it's like what three? No, that's like 2 quarterbacks really every year for the most part.
It's crazy. I know we've obviously been in quarterback purgatory for a little while, so we can
But not
kind of
that
relate,
bad.
but not for.
It's
not for
it's kind of like the Browns need a Baker Mayfield.
Oh, but you know what? They could really use someone like Baker Mayfield. Crazy.
Crazy.
Too bad.
Didn't they have a Baker Mayfield at one point?
They did, and he won them a playoff game, which is crazy because the Browns don't win playoff games. And then they were like, we can do better, and they signed Deshaun Watson, who even when healthy has been awful.
Yes.
Well, because he's awful off the field too.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a worse person.
Oh.
Speaking of Baker Mayfield,
Go ahead.
he is the first quarterback ever to have 375 plus passing yards with less than 5 incompletions.
That happened in the Seattle game, didn't it? Woo, that's actually pretty impressive. But I think even both quarterbacks were slinging it pretty well in that game as well. Granted, Baker Mayfield won at the end of the day because I think it was Sam Darnold made a costly turnover that cost Seattle the game.
No, hasn't been slinging it well. Raiders quarterback Geno Smith. I think he's leading the league in interceptions. He's been terrible. I love it. It's awesome. The Raiders are getting what they deserve. I'm not going to go off on them because I tend to get a little bit vulgar when I talk about them, but it's just great. It's just fantastic seeing the Raiders be the Raiders.
Can I say it?
Go for it.
There you go. That's it. Yeah. Can't say it enough. I was last time we talked. I feel like that's all we said last time I was on. So
Yeah.
Well,
nice to preview the Jets, who I don't hate as much.
And Ty, gets more and more red every time I say it. Like, okay, Kelly, you said it. So I asked permission this time.
Well, I'm going to be hearing a lot of that in a month or so when we play the Raiders. So I'm all ready for it. I mean, I'll probably throw in a couple in there at one point. But yeah, it's probably a good thing, Ron. Although I think it would probably be a lot more fun, although it'd be a lot more explicit rating if Ron was on for a Raiders game, which you all saw 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How that happened.
Yeah, I think I got banished from the podcast after that because I think that's literally all I said for like an hour.
Not according to Jay Weaver over here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I can't see any of the comments. I just assume it's my group chat friends because I've seen a couple of the usernames that you popped up there. I'm sure they're just harassing me and whoever else may be in the chat, which is fine. I'm popular amongst a few friends, so
Your guest speaker, and they canceled plans just to be here. So there you go.
that's BJ, by the way. So
yeah, I had a feeling it was him.
by the way, you love the screen name. Jay Cutler owns YouTube. That's hilarious.
Yes, I did notice that. Anything else for around the NFL?
I have Drake May, who is 23, is the second youngest quarterback in NFL history to win on the road against the reigning MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you were alive the last time it happened.
Probably not. I probably was not.
You have any guesses? Ron, you too? I mean, Ron, you know ball. I probably don't have any stat that you couldn't.
He's the last. What'd you say? It was the last what?
He's the second youngest quarterback in NFL history to win on the road against the reigning MVP.
I'm sure this is wrong. I was going to say Sam Darnold, but I don't know. No. You said it was before I was alive. Man. So it's
So
got to be in the 80s. Sorry, not trying to out your age there, buddy, but
no,
um,
like you have to think back pre 1989.
yeah. So I'm guessing it's Marino.
You know against
Nice.
who?
Montana. No.
Theismann.
Wow. Yeah.
Joe Theismann, interesting.
And Marino is a different breed, dude. That guy. I know he didn't win a Super Bowl, but my goodness, he's just ridiculous. His passing touchdown record stood up till Brady and Manning broke it, like in the mid 2000s. It's like
His quick release was awesomeness to watch.
he still had more weapons than Elway did, though. Just saying.
I know he did. I know he did.
Elway did
Ain't
more
no one gonna out argue me that Elway is GOAT. And I mean, my tombstone now has to be like 80 stories high of all the stuff I'm gonna put on it because I'm having the last word in some of these arguments.
Yeah. Getting to 5 Super Bowls with 0 Pro Bowl players in your career before you finally got a team around him in the late 90s
Yes.
is so underappreciated. Not by us, obviously, but league wide. You see all the rankings come out of the top 5, top 10 quarterbacks, and Elway's like 9 or 6. I'm like, dude, that guy's top 4 or
They
5
just
at
don't
the
know.
absolute worst. Like, Marino, Montana, Peyton, Brady, Elway. Those, people want to put like guys like Rodgers above him. I'm like, come on, man. Like, Rodgers is a great talent. He's been a good quarterback. He has 1 Super Bowl and a bunch of disappointments. Elway got to the Super Bowl 10 times. Like, that's crazy.
Sorry, I just want to highlight this one that Nick thinks you're so amazing.
Another one of my friends.
Okay,
Right.
I lied. I have one more thing.
Go ahead.
There were 6 double-digit come from behind wins this week.
Ours is one of them.
Ours was one of them. We were down 14 points.
Jaguars were 1.
Jaguars came back from 14 points.
Panthers came back from
17 down,
17,
yeah.
17 down.
And the Dolphins are a dumpster fire this year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, not trying to like hate. I'm just saying. I was like, man,
No.
saw that.
No, I know.
Saw that result. And I was like, my goodness.
No, yeah, I'm just I actually had a thought on like the whole Dolphins thing, but I'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know the other games. I'm blanking. I was so pumped about the Broncos game. I wasn't really paying attention. I had Red Zone on my iPad while I was watching the Broncos game, so I was like glancing over at that, but wasn't like locked in at all. And then afterwards, I was still just so hyped that I wasn't really paying. I was like mostly on Twitter talking to people, or like my in-laws FaceTime. Like it was just kind of a little bit of a party afterwards. So I was not locked in on all the games, but I do remember the Panthers. I remember the Jaguars. Our game, that's 3. So there were 6.
Yep.
I don't think it was Bucs Seahawks. They were close all game.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Who else was it? Just tell us.
Okay. So, I just before the Commanders were 10-point deficits and then came and scored 27 unanswered against the Chargers. The Saints were 10 points behind and came back and beat the Giants. And Cam Ward of the Titans got his first win. Came back, but they were down 21-6 and beat my mortal enemy, Kyle Murray.
Your mortal enemy.
I did see that game. That man, did the Cardinals find a way to lose games?
Yeah,
I actually
in the weirdest, goofiest way you could. Like,
I saw a funny thing. I actually saw a funny meme. I have a buddy who's a Cardinals fan. And he had like this meme that says like, I feel sad. And it's like a guy hunched over wearing a Cardinals hat. And it says the next to it is a Cardinals logo. And it just says, don't worry, it'll get worse. Like, yeah, I've been there before, but man, that's to intercept the ball. First of all, the drop fumble across the end zone, but then to intercept the ball and then fumble it without being touched and have somebody else pick it up and return for a touchdown or cover for a touchdown is one of the wildest things I've ever seen in the NFL. That's crazy.
Absolutely. I do have one more thing around the NFL, but there's one little tidbit since we were talking about the Dolphins. It's gonna be kind of like more of a hot take. I mean, it may not be much of a hot take right now, but I would not be surprised if Mike McDaniel was the first. And I adore him because of like his like persona and things like that. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he was the first in-season firing this year. Just with the way that the team's looking.
I said that after week 2.
Oh, you said that after week 2. Oh, how did I not hear? I must be like, I wonder if that was the time that my computer went on the fritz. No, that's probably not it. I'm just joking. But my one fun around the NFL, and it's kind of like a sad moment. So I think it was Kelly. I think it was shortly after we were on last week. Former Ravens defensive lineman Arthur Jones did pass away at the age of 39. He won Super Bowl 47 with the Ravens. He is the older brother of Chandler Jones, who is a former NFL defensive end, and and Ron, you would know this one. He is also the older brother of UFC champion John Jones.
Yeah, I saw that news. It was sad. I don't know. I haven't seen how it happened or what happened, but I did hear about that. It's a bummer. I know he got a big shout out on the UFC pay-per-view from Alex Pereira after he won his title back.
Yes, he did. It was they haven't so far yet announced the cause of death. So we'll have to see what happened or what they discover at that point. It just seemed like it happened very suddenly, like just came out of nowhere. So I'm not gonna assume the worst, but like it's kind of hard, especially to lose a friend, a son, a brother, like things like that. So heartfelt condolences to the Baltimore Ravens and the Jones family on that one.
It was a bummer. To answer one of the questions, because I can see the chat now, is my favorite UFC fighter is Justin Gaethje.
All right. With that being said, let's get into our game of the week. So, as our guest, Ron, what is one game outside of the Broncos versus Jets game that we shall be paying attention to? Excuse me.
Like, should be or we want to be? Because, I mean,
That
obviously always AFC West games.
What's one game that you think a lot of the fans should be paying attention to?
See what we got this week. I mean, I know the Ravens are probably going to get beat, but they fall to 1-5. Don't love that for them. 49ers Bucks should be a fun game. Niners going across country. And then Lions Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. I mean, probably the game of the week. Hopefully the Lions can beat them in Arrowhead again. That would be nice. Yeah, I would say those are probably the for me, the two biggest matchups that I'd be interested outside of our game, which is hopefully we can get a nice early win. You know, it's 7:30 my time. We can just get a dub and then just enjoy football the rest of the day. It would be awesome. But we'll see. The Jets, even at 0-5, still scare me. So every team scares me because it's the NFL and you just never know. And it feels like we're the type of team to just like lose games we shouldn't. We haven't been a team that loses games that shouldn't lose necessarily the last couple of years, but you just never know. After coming off a big high and a big win like that, sometimes you have a little drop off. So it concerns me. I'm sure the Jets are hungry, and Justin Fields kind of tore us up last time we played him when he was with Chicago. So I hope Vance has a better defensive game plan going this time around.
Absolutely. All right, Kelly, what you got? Hopefully you're not chewing, though. Sorry.
No, it's your turn to go first.
Oh, is it my turn first? Oh, okay. So my game of the week is going to be, and it's mostly because of how the game played out last year, but I want to see Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams too. So I picked Bears versus Commanders. And that game is the last game on Monday Night Football. No reason, mostly just because of how exciting the game was last year.
I picked the Sunday night game, the Lions at the Chiefs.
Good one. Good one.
Not because I want to hear Chris Collinsworth talk about how much he loves Patrick Mahomes, but, see if KC can stay under 500. KC's defense, which is not really top tier, in my opinion, is going against the number one offense. Last week, the Lions were 5-6 in the red zone. Jeff Goff leads in pass percentage. And then, the KC defense just gave up 24, 5 for 9, third down and then over 8 yards per pass completion against the Jags. So Lions are also on a 4-game win streak. So Chiefs might be fighting to break that streak. So, but I'd really like to see them lose that game.
Have them go 2 games under 500. That'd be pretty sweet though.
Since you guys took those ones, I would just go back and say Niners Bucks. That should be a fun game. Bucks have been on fire. Niners, both teams are 4-1. Baker versus, it's looking like Mac Jones again. I guess we'll see, but I think it's going to be Mac again. He's been playing pretty well for the Niners, so curious to see how that game plays out. I know it's NFC, doesn't really affect us too much, but it just for just a fun afternoon game, it looks like it's going to be a good one, hopefully.
Absolutely. All right, now that we got to talk about the games that you all could watch after our game, let's talk about the game that is going to be kicking off at 9:30 a.m. my time, 7:30 Ron's time, and for Kelly, she gets it at the sweet old hour at 6:30 in the morning.
Bloody Mary's on me. Although I'm going to interrupt this for a second. Ron, if you could have anything for a victory dinner after a big Broncos win, what would it be?
I saw that question. I have no idea. Probably after a Broncos win. I mean, I guess it's like if I'm at the game, I probably just want to like pick something up. I don't know. But I enjoy a good steak, nice little like filet mignon with I don't know, like some broccoli and some au gratin potatoes. Sounds really good. I know the person that asked that question, I made a mistake when he was in town visiting a few years ago. It was a couple of friends. So that's probably why he's asking. I cooked everybody up some steaks and I made everybody fed and hydrated. That's why they're harassing me about it, I believe. So.
Are you going to give them the Broncos country let's ride?
No, we're not a let's ride. We're not a let's ride guy anymore. We're
United. I'm not ever going to give up the United in orange.
No, that one's fine. I like that. I even like Time to Ride back from like the 2012 playoff run. I just don't I'm not a let's bow guy. I don't like to let's bow.
No.
It's not for me. It's bow time. I'm not about that life. Just I don't know.
No,
I'm just old now. I'm just old. I think a lot of the people on Twitter are not old. So it's just, it's just a different generation. That's not my, I don't know. It's corny to me. It's just like I don't call the refs the Chiefs the chefs or the Raiders the faders. I've never done that. I don't like it. I don't like those teams, but it's just like it just seems childish and dumb to me. So I don't say that's bow. I don't say it's bow time. I don't call them the chefs. We just
No. The chat would like us to not forget about the People's Game of the Week, the Raiders versus Titans.
I think he said it's the battle of trash, which is very funny.
Yes.
Yeah. The last time we played Fields, he was a Pittsburgh Steeler.
What he was?
Yeah, he was actually. Yeah,
yeah.
He beat us last year, week 2. I actually thought about that after I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. But I guess the time before we played him with the Bears and he had us down to 21-0 or whatever it was not great. He was carving us up like a turkey. By the way, I see people saying like, let's Ron and whatever, Ron country, which is funny. We should just do this after games and we'll have post-game press Ronferences, which is something else these guys say whenever we have like a 3-way call or 4-way call, they call it a post-game press Ronference, which is pretty funny. So
press Ronference. Hopefully they trademark that.
They just like to throw my name into whatever, but it's pretty funny.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Speaking of this preview, Kelly, there's 4 words I want to tell you as we discuss this game. You ready? Watch the trap game.
Yes, because the Jets are 0-5. They're the first 0-5 team with no takeaways ever.
Yep.
As Ron was saying, I agree. For some reason, the Broncos tend to play down to the competition that we're at instead of running the clinic that we should run. Desperate teams do desperate things. sometimes they're hard to beat because they've reached that limit. They have nothing else to lose. But the Jets offense has struggled, and our defense, though it doesn't feel like it, has allowed the fewest points in the league at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other thing is too, we're coming off a big game on the road. They haven't been home in 2 weeks. They went straight to London. That can take a toll. I do like that they're there early to adjust the time and stuff like that. I think that can help. I saw that they're staying in the quote unquote sleepiest town in England. I don't mind that. Although I do hope they get to go out and do some like sightseeing stuff for the guys that haven't been there, if their families are going over and stuff. But it's all business. I want them to win, but I don't want to be homesick. I want them to, focus. It's just a tough thing. It's like you said, Kelly, like Jets are 0-5. They've had a couple of close calls. We struggle with mobile quarterbacks. We kind of always have. I know we did a good job on Hurts last week, but Fields, I don't know, Hurts just didn't
And
seem like he
Fields,
wanted to
for
run
whatever his
chances.
problems are, he manages 100 of a quarterback rating each game.
Yeah.
So it's not his poor play.
No.
It's not only his poor play.
No, I think it really comes down to, I think Fields is doing well. I think it's really the Jets defense is the reason why they're doing so poorly. Because I have a stat here that the Jets are allowing 31.4 points per game. I think that's the only team that's allowing the most, surprisingly enough, is the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're averaging about 35 points, allowing about 35 points a game, which you would think the Ravens, who have been known for
I just told
decades,
they've let 4 out of the 5 teams score 37 plus points on them.
That's like completely
I just told you
uncharacteristic.
that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're decimated with injuries, but so are the Niners, and the Niners are still winning. So I don't know. I mean, I know that's like an excuse. But they really are decimated. Their defense and their offense. The Jets, I don't understand what's going on with them because Aaron Glenn is supposed to be some great defensive coach. Obviously, he's head coach now, but they have playmakers at all 3 levels. They've got Sauce Gardner, the hold merchant. They've got Quentin Williams. They've got players. Yeah, I know. So I don't know. I remember a couple years ago, everyone thought Sauce was better than PS2. It was like, dude, that guy's holding everybody every play and never getting called. Now he finally gets called for it. Things have changed a lot. But it's just weird because I do feel like they have talent on their defense, but they're just not playing well. I mean, Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns against them, 5 touchdowns against them, in week 1. They haven't been good. I hope that we can do the same thing. It just, we'll have to see. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like I want to be confident, be like, yeah, we're gonna kill them. It's the NFL. You never know. I just saw my Penn State lose to UCLA on Saturday, so anything is possible in football, unfortunately. But I am looking forward to the game. I hope it's fun. It's early, which is nice. Like I said, watch it, get out of the way. Hopefully with a win, and then we can enjoy the rest of our day. Because if not, it'll probably ruin the rest of our day. So go from a high beating the Eagles to a pretty low if we lose to the Jets, especially when not only is it a loss, but also an AFC team. We want to win those AFC games for sure. Tiebreakers down the road.
Yeah, I think that's why that's why I'm really big on watching the trap game, because the Eagles win was absolutely amazing, but it only will come down to helping tiebreakers. Like I think maybe worst case scenario, or I don't even think NFC games really impacts AFC tiebreakers at all. Whereas you have the Jets, they're 0-5. They've got nothing to worry about, or they're not that scary. But you come to the fact that Denver has already lost 2 of their games to AFC opponents.
Yep.
You don't want to end up losing a third
Another
one, especially this late in the season, or especially at this point in the season.
Right. Especially when you still have games against the Texans coming up, like Texans and Colts. If either of them are in the playoff race, if we've lost to both of them, that means the head-to-head is out. Like ideally, the Colts just win that division and we can beat the Texans, at this point. But yeah, you don't want to lose AFC games for sure. It's, I think that's AFC games, AFC West games, definitely 2 most important for sure. So if we're going to lose, let it be the NFC teams.
Absolutely. What are we thinking? Like, as far as
I think the Jets have Mason Taylor as a tight end.
They do have Mason Taylor as tight end.
And Vance Joseph hasn't figured out how to cover tight ends.
Fortunately not.
He has 65 plus yards in the last 2 weeks, and he leads for Jets targets.
Yes. So the big thing is we're going to probably need to rely a little bit on Hufnong. Sorry, make sure I'm pronouncing that right. Hafananga to.
Just-
I'm trying.
it's Hufunga.
Okay,
I know.
I'm
This is interesting because I'm always the one that messes up the names, and I can get this one.
And Niners fans in here are not going to be happy about you guys mispronouncing his name.
All right, so say it again so I'm not butchering it again.
It's Hufunga or Ufunga.
Hufunga. Okay. So Hufunga is probably going to be the one that is going to be on Mason Taylor quite a bit. So hopefully he can take him down and make sure he doesn't get too far. But I agree with you, Kelly. I think it's even before Van Joseph was in town. We just seem to have a problem against tight ends.
And running backs.
Yes, and running backs.
That's been a problem since, like, I don't know, 2005, 2006. Like, tight ends and running backs just tear us up. It's been like that as long as I can remember. The only time it wasn't as bad is when we had Danny Trevathan. That guy was a beast at covering linebackers and tight ends. And when we had him and Brandon Marshall, they did a pretty good job. Other than that little run, it's been pretty much a nightmare for running backs and tight ends for us to cover. So
absolutely. All right. So what are we thinking? Oh, so Kelly, do we both have this as a win or did we split on this one? Oh, we split on this one. All right. So given the circumstances, are you going to keep it as a loss or are you going to change it to a win? Oh no, if Kelly has to think against a winless team, I'm worried here.
I don't like changing my pick, but we should win this game.
Okay. So is that lock? You're going with the win?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the win.
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Ron, I think I know what you're going with.
I mean, it should be a win. The fact that you thought it was going to be a loss is honestly, what the hell is wrong with you, Kelly?
We don't win in London.
I'm just kidding. Yes,
we
we
don't
do.
win in London.
We beat the Jags in London with Russ. We'll be fine. I'm not worried about London. I like that we're there early, like I said, to acclimate. We'll be in the time zone. Like, I think we're going to be okay. The Jets are 0-5. They're obviously due for a win at some point, and we're coming off a big win, but I still think that we're going to find a way. I feel like Sean's going to have our guys ready. I think we win this game. Hopefully it's not close, but I think just knowing our team, it probably will be something like 23-17 or something like that.
Yep. Very true. I'm also going to keep it as a win. Just with the, I am cautious because it could be a trap game. Don't get me wrong on that. But given the state of the Jets defense, I really think, I think, what was it? 2 weeks ago, Bo Nix had his 300 plus yard game. I could easily see him breaking 300 yards this game too. So try to get off to that quick start, get it done early, so that way we don't have to stress. And then we can enjoy the rest of Sunday football, enjoying the fact that we would be 4-2.
You guys have like an X factor player you're expecting to play well, or you think was going to do well?
I will actually point this out. So Malcolm Roach's IR window opened up. If he can play, I would expect him to be the X factor because of Breece Hall.
You can see that he's really good against the run.
Yes.
What about you, Kelly? Nobody in mind? For some reason, I think Mims could play a big role this week. I don't know why. It
I
just
would
feels
like to see Franklin have a repeat game.
That would be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice. He's been good. I think Mims, like, he has these kind of like, he shows up big for a couple games and he disappears for a little bit. I think this could be a game we could see him have maybe some nice returns, maybe get him on some reverses, maybe he had a nice touchdown against the Colts in week 2. Maybe something like that against the Jets would be nice. We'll see.
Absolutely. Before I forget, I was kind of requested to ask this question. So, Ron, what is your favorite part about being a Broncos season ticket holder? And if I ask you that, follow it up by asking you the details surrounding your season ticket holder status.
Yeah, so I personally don't have season tickets. I buy a friend season tickets, which I've been doing for I don't know how many years, a long time, probably since 2013 or 2014. But since I moved back to Colorado in 2012, I've been to all but 3 home games. Preseason or not preseason, but regular season and playoffs. So technically not a season ticket holder, but every year I buy a friend season ticket. He sells it to me at face value. It's a really nice deal. It's awesome. My favorite part is just going to all the games, being in that Broncos Stadium, Mile High Stadium, just a fun atmosphere. Being my friends, tailgating when I decide to tailgate. Hasn't been happening as often the last few years, but some of the folks that were running it kind of moved away or stopped doing it. So I tailgate here and there, but for the most part, I just like showing up, supporting my team, being my friends, whether they're at every game or just at some of them or whatever. So, and there's nothing like being a Mile High. It's just a different vibe. I've been to a bunch of different away games. The atmospheres just aren't the same. Like Green Bay was really fun. But other than that, like San Francisco, it was 2 bad teams, but that wasn't a great stadium to me. Dallas atmosphere's fine. It's not great. The Giants is terrible. Giants Stadium is awful. Like they're the most boring stadium I've ever been to. So yeah, there's just nothing like being at Mile High every week, man. I'm there with 76,000 of my friends, so it's a fun time.
Yeah, I can kind of attest to the Giants one because the first Broncos game I went to was Broncos at Jets at MetLife Stadium the year after that horrible Super Bowl. And I looked at when the Super Bowl happened in MetLife Stadium, like, oh, that's cool. That happens on the East Coast. It was like 2 hours away from me. Like, if I had $500,000 to spend, I would have definitely gone to that. Thankfully, I didn't. But but going into that stadium the first time, like, this is it. Really? I mean, it was good because the Broncos won on my very first game, but gosh, that was just that stadium just is like a block of gray, really. Like a straight up block of gray.
I would never to the chat here. I've never been to a game in Oakland. I would never want to go to that trash stadium ever around those awful people. But I have been to Oakland, but only for a very short period of time, hanging out with some friends.
I guess round trip airfare. Gosh, if I could afford that, I'd go myself and then take these 2 with me. But I'm not that rich. I'm sorry.
I think any of us are that rich. We're good. Like, I would like to do a London game one time. Someday would be fun. I've had a couple friends from Ireland. I don't know if you know Colin and Michael McQuaid, but they both come over here for Broncos games from Ireland, and like they're always like, next time they're here, and like I know a few people going, but definitely can't swing that right now. It would be awesome. One day, I'm sure it will happen, but there's plenty of games here in the United States that we're good to go to. So stick to those for now.
Absolutely. I think on that note, though, we're gonna end the podcast here. Sorry, that did look very unprofessional laughing as I was trying to gather myself together. Unless, Kelly, did you have anything you would like to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Kelly's over it. She's like, it's been an hour and 45 minutes. Let's go.
Well, your friends think I talk too much, so I try to stop talking less.
My friends are trolls. Don't listen to them. They're just harassing me and asking a bunch of questions about inside jokes. Just ignore them.
No, up before they said, "Damn, does Kelly ever shut up?"
Because they're just saying that because they want to hear me talk because they're just being goofy. But they hear me talk all the time. We have a group chat with multiple people in there, so we're all good.
So this is actually on this side of 2 hours. That's good for us this season.
Yes.
And yeah, they also did say that ball. So
yes, they did.
So they weren't being totally rude. Although, and I'm not saying you don't know ball, but they were saying that because you said we're bad in London, but we won our last game in London.
Okay.
So we're not
I have forgotten the rest years. I have J.R. Smith them from my mind. And actually,
that's the terrible uniform combo
Wait.
with white jerseys with blue pants was awful. We won that game somehow.
But the London for some reason makes me remember Josh McDaniels and that year.
I think they were bringing that
And I
up. They're talking about
hate it.
Troy Smith. Yeah.
Yes.
We lost to Troy
And I
Smith on the
hate it.
49ers. So.
And I hate it. And I hate it. And so I don't want to ever. I love the games in London. I love waking up and having football at 6:30 a.m. I love it. But I hate us in London because if they can go in and Bo Nix play cool as ice and Sean Payton do some fun things, and this is just a fun, we run a clinic and make the Jets look embarrassing, then I can relax about London. But
until then, going to be cautious.
Races that Josh McDaniels year from my head, I'm not ever going to want us in London.
I get it. I get it.
Completely fair.
Speaking of that,
the rest, Ty and I, J.R. Smith, every single rest game. From our
I think we
head,
all want to forget the rest games, man.
I managed to do it. Just like I completely forget that one Super Bowl.
Must be nice. Unfortunately, they're all burned into my memory. Like Broncos losing to the Colts 9-6 in overtime. Stuck in my brain forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some things like that are stuck in my brain forever. But yes, the Super Bowl that shall not be mentioned does not get mentioned.
Yep, absolutely.
And it messes me up at trivia because
hey, what?
I'll be like, oh yeah, damn.
I noticed you mentioned before we go. I did notice you made a comment, Ron, about the uniform comment we had. Not uniform, the uniform combination we had. I was like, I forgot that we had that same uniform combo in London than we did last week against the Eagles, and we won in that one. So
but it wasn't. That's not the issue though. Those uniforms were with the stripes down the side. So we had
that's right.
So we had the blue stripe down the white jersey and then the orange stripe down the blue pants, and it looked ridiculous.
That's right. I remember that. Yep. That was
so that's why. That's why I'm just like,
I don't know who's picking our uniforms this season. I want them fired.
I personally don't care about the uniforms, and my wife was not thrilled. Alicia was not thrilled with the uniform. She kept complaining about it the whole first quarter. I'm like, who cares about the uniforms? Let's just win the game. She was so unhappy. She's like, they look dumb.
No, because I'm usually the Grinch when it comes up. I'm like, do we really care about the uniforms or the meme of like the big tank of water about to explode the water and they stick the little fix-it tape on it. And I was like, oh yeah, seven losing seasons, but look, new uniforms. I was like, why is everyone so excited about these uniforms? And then but starting the first game, that orange on orange was awful.
I like the orange on orange.
You admitted
we disagree. I'm an orange on orange guy. I like it.
You sent me one of the combos and said, I'm not a fan of this.
I even like the orange top and blue pants that we did last year. I thought that was fun. I'm with it.
Yes, the orange on orange was too much. The players that like had the white sticking out underneath their jerseys, they were okay. Like they're I don't like. Maybe it's just me. I don't like the monochromatic looks. And so when it's too much of one color, it's just too much. So, but yeah, usually people look at me about the uniforms and I'm like, oh, they're different. We just had this talk last week. Like, I don't see a lot of difference in colors when they're like, that's not the right blue. I'm like, okay.
The biggest complaint I've seen is the blue, like the same color socks as pants. They don't like the leggings look, so they want like blue pants, white socks. Gosh, yeah. That's like such a huge deal on Twitter for some reason. I'm just like, I mean, sure, yeah, maybe it would be like a little more aesthetically pleasing. Like, you know what I care about looking at? The scoreboard and making sure that the Broncos have more points than the other team, and that's it. And to these guys, by the way, they brought up when I very first came on here that I have a wife. By the way, I wasn't bragging. And yes, BJ, it was 12-9. Colts beat the Broncos 12-9, not 9-6. My bad. So I guess maybe I don't remember that game entirely because I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. It's maybe the worst game I've ever been to that was a quote unquote close game. So I've been to some really bad blowouts, but yeah, that was a really tough. That Broncos Colts game was terrible.
Yeah, just make sure that the scoreboard doesn't flash yellow. That way we're not.
On the TV graphic.
It's going to.
TV
It's
graphic.
definitely going to. It's definitely going to.
Well,
Okay, so everyone in the chat, Ron is welcome anytime. I am not,
yes.
I don't know that he wants to hang out with us every Wednesday, but
Maybe not every Wednesday, but I would definitely come on again. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. It's been fun. I love talking Broncos, obviously.
Well, we appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you for taking the time out to come talk to us, and we also, I guess, must thank. Well, not guess. We must thank your lovely friends here for livening up the chat while we talked about Broncos as well. So it's always nice to have you, Ron, and I can't thank you for being a really good friend and doing this with us.
You guys got it, man. Thank you. Anytime. Invite me on. I'm happy to come on. If you want me on for Raiders Week, I'll be on for Raiders Week. We'll try to be better with the language. I did good this time. I don't think I swore maybe once this whole time. I've been really good, but the Raiders, they fire me up. I hate them with like just a fiery passion. Like I can't stand them. So, but if you have me on, I'll be, more PG for sure. At least PG-13. We'll do a PG-13.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Do you need that same commitment for me?
I personally don't care. I felt like last time I was
make that commitment because I've told this story 900 million times, but I didn't let my boys use the word hate when they were growing up. They weren't allowed to hate things except the Raiders.
That's fair. I mean, and to the chat, no, not tonight. I did really good tonight. Last time I was on a couple of years ago, I had a really bad potty mouth. So we did much better this time. Much better.
Well, Ron.
Yeah, I was the bad one. but I asked consent.
You did. Consent's important.
Well, Kelly, let's think. Oh yeah, it is. Sorry, I was just thinking. Sorry, that was bad. I'm sorry. I was reading something, and I just completely thought of something. The Raiders games are both open, so possibly.
All right, we'll figure it out, man. There's no pressure.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But for those that may be watching and that are not able, that don't follow you, but they definitely should be, where can they find you?
At Mile High Greco across pretty much all platforms: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. So same username is on here. If you need to find me, that's where I'm at. Snapchat, all that stuff. So
absolutely. All right, Kelly, ready to close this out?
I am. As always, you can find me on X at I Love to Lead.
You can find me at TieFlyGuy15.
You can find us both at
IN-COM-PLETE_2.
Because there's two of us. That's also on Instagram.
IN_COM_PLETE_2.
Okay. All those DMs are open for song requests, challenge flags, guest requests, topic requests, any other questions, comments, or concerns. We ask that if you disagree with us, that you are respectful about it. And I beg you to stay clothed.
Yep, absolutely. However,
but apparently Ty doesn't care about whether you're clothed or not for some reason.
No, I care.
Interesting.
Well,
it's because every week I say it, and every week Ty laughs like, "Oh,
no."
And so
I haven't had those issues. So, but I'm a big proponent. I'm like, please do not send unsolicited stuff. I won't even accept it. Do not, because I will ignore it. It's mostly.
Just giving you a hard time, Ty. Just giving you a hard time.
It's the male-female dynamic. I'm sorry. Are your DMs open for them to slide into, Ron?
Dude, aren't in a group. Yes, they are. Slide in. No nudity, please.
Yeah, please. None of that. However, if
sliding into someone's DMs is not for you, we have an email.
IN_COM_PLETE@outlook.com. And as always, we are live here on YouTube every Wednesday night from 9:15 p.m. my time, 8:15 p.m. Central Time, 7:15 Ron time or Mountain Time,
Ron
No.
time. Yeah, that's right. My friends will appreciate that.
and 6:15 p.m. Kelly time.
That's my fault because Ty used to tell me a time, and I just assumed it was on my time, and so he started going, "No, this," and then he'd try to say time, and I'd be like, "Okay, just tell me what time my clock's gonna say." So it started
Fair
this.
enough.
Okay, it's gonna be 1:00 Kelly time, and so that's so it's turned into now.
It turned into a big running joke between. Well, not so much as a running joke, but
An inside joke. Yeah, it's an inside joke.
an inside joke. I
Love
like that inside joke better.
Love it. We got Ron time, Kelly time, and Ty time.
Yes.
Yes.
And then we have those poor souls in the Central Time.
Yeah, right. You live in the worst time zone by far, Ty. Sorry.
Oh, I know
East
I do.
Coast is awful.
I cannot wait to move more out west. That day will be glorious. But if you are unable to tune in, we do have our audio podcast that does come out at least 24 to 48 hours after every podcast. Really is about 36 hours. It just depends on how everything goes. But on those, you can find us on iHeart, Spotify, Apple, just basically anywhere you get your podcast. I just ask if you could possibly leave a review, leave how many stars you want.
No, leave 5 stars.
I mean, we've gotten 5 stars, but recently we've gotten 1 star. So Kelly knows how I feel about. I think it just goes people that just can't. Kelly and I know that's just a mental thing. We're not even not mental thing. It's just they just we're not everyone's cup of tea, is what she says. Is what I'm saying.
Because I'm a shot of whiskey.
Yes.
And you came looking for tea. I'm not for you.
Fair enough.
And I'm like a glass of it, basically. So you prefer tea, I prefer whiskey.
I prefer water. So.
But if you at least don't tell us what you'd like to see, we can't help you. So that's all I'm going to say on that.
Apparently, they all want to see Ron. So
I could just see it now. They leave a review. Please have Ron on the show more.
There you go. Hey, as long as they get 5 stars, that's good, right?
I mean, it could happen. We'll see. But
I guess.
until then, and until next time.
Go Broncos.